You look
And
like
I think we're live finally.
Yay.
Oh, shut up.
Well,
Just asking them if I look okay. Wait, can you guys, because we've had such horrible technical difficulties. I am so sorry. Let me open the chat and everything. We are coming to you from a Native American reservation. Oh, yeah, I think they can see us.
Just because you do not know of my tribe does not mean I do not deserve reparations. Yeah.
Yes, I
I'm
can
good.
see that it's working.
My camera catches
someone
too much.
comment. Can you guys see us?
All right.
Okay.
So, what the hell was that debate?
Yay! Here we go. Hey, y'all! Thanks for watching. Well, first let me say hi and shit. The only thing I had in my mind for the last 2 hours was Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Welcome to the Freak Show. I'm with Greg and Olivia and Cal, and we have so much shit to talk. So, oh my god, it felt like it went on forever.
It did. It just drug on and on. My god.
Yeah, Greg, I was gonna say, why don't we start with you? I'm opening my beer. This debate's causing me to drink.
It started out entertaining because you had Tim Ryan, who decided not to put his hand over his heart, and then you had Marianne Williamson, who decided to put her hand over her throat chakra, and then everybody else had their hand over their heart.
Just because you do not know about the dark psychic energy.
Oh God!
That Trump is harvesting.
I laughed so hard. It's pulsating under the ground.
Don't you bitches be talking shit about me.
Man, the first hour was entertaining enough because it's like, all right, this is the standard fare. They're not saying anything new, but it's funny because Bernie is, yelling.
He was so angry.
Trying to,
he was so animated. Did somebody just slip him a couple of pills or something before he went on stage?
In his Metamucil. They just put it in his prune juice.
Well, then I feel like Warren, all of a sudden had to jump in, well, I'm going to start yelling too.
He was pissed off because he didn't get his pudding.
I have to say, so let me know what you guys think. But for me, I have a new forbidden liberal man crush, and his name is Steve Bullock. He was making my nipples all tingly tonight. He was great. He was more than any of them who makes sense, I thought.
Oh, some of the, it was great because, okay, so Bernie's crazy. Warren is just stealing Bernie's platform, and Beto just wants to get high and skateboard. But the 0% chance people, Delaney, Ryan, Bullock, Hickenlooper, if you took some of their more sane stances and put it together, you'd almost have a complete candidate.
Yeah, right.
What did you think, Olivia? What was your overall thoughts?
I was not expecting to like Delaney as much as I did because I'm from Maryland, he's from Maryland, and he was way too progressive for Maryland in my opinion. But then when he was on the stage, it was very apparent to me that he was one of the more conservative candidates, and that really shocked me and it disappointed me because I was like, I can't believe this super progressive guy is now the candidate that I think would be the best choice between him and Steve. Probably those are my two top favorites. And then as you guys said, Bernie was very, very animated. He was angry. And I noticed that Bernie, Buttigieg, and Warren all refused to answer the question about raising the taxes for the middle class. And they just kind of went around in a circle around it, but they never answered it.
But
Elizabeth Warren cannot answer a question.
Oh, yeah.
She will never give a yes or no. Speaking of... Sorry.
Well, I was going to say, the only people who answered questions were the people who had no chance of winning.
Yeah.
All the big candidates we can't answer questions. That might be held against us in the future. But I have 8 pages of notes here, and I actually made notes on the raising the middle tax question. Beto said no to raising middle class taxes for healthcare, but he did call it our plan, pretending there's somebody other than himself and his mother. And and when asked about raising taxes on the middle classes, Warren responded with, Democrats cannot win the White House with small ideas. Apparently her big idea is taxes.
Yeah, it was the whole
1 second, by the way, I should say parentheses. I was just gonna say Can you guys hear me?
You're coming
Yeah.
in.
Can you guys hear me?
Breaking up there for a second. I can hear
Oh,
you.
sorry.
You're just your
I can
video.
hear.
Sorry, my computer's being all weird. Cool. Is it there?
You might want to turn off your video for a bit and just do
Can you guys see
audio.
me?
We can
No,
hear you.
your camera keeps going off.
What? Oh, it does? Shit. Sorry.
Yeah, you're like switching on. and
You
off.
guys talk vamp for.
Okay, so of the notes, I have one of the
About
earliest
now.
things I have for notes is Bullock and Klobuchar both reference people in the audience. Like, this was the night of the emotional appeal. Dear
Exactly.
God, won't you think of the children?
Yeah.
My 6-year-old nephew got shot in a playground when he overdosed on drugs, and this was because of illegal immigrants being detained at the border, because I went to the border and I saw the cages for the children.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that's just how the Democratic Party operates. They rely on emotion and
real
anecdotal
quick, I was
evidence.
just gonna.
I love how he says, I'm just going to say, and then his
By the way,
audio
I was
dies
just gonna say
completely.
parentheses real quick because I feel like I think there's like a
Okay,
little bit of a
Michael,
delay
can
or
you-
something in this because it like anyway. I was just going to say I feel like I forgot you can't. Did you say you can't or you can?
No, there's definitely a delay because. No, I mean I can
Let me ask
now,
you
but there's
something, Mike.
like a
Shit.
10-second delay.
I don't
Oh,
know.
God
Yeah,
damn
you
it.
have a delay. Are you
you-
watching your YouTube video at the same time?
Oh yeah, it's playing. I didn't mean it to play. How about now? Okay, wait. So
Yeah,
should that
just pause
fix it?
That should
Damn it,
help with
Mike.
your
Okay,
bandwidth
Okay, it
problem.
did. Is everything kosher? Sorry, I'm fucking everything up
better.
tonight. Wait,
You really are.
hopefully
You should
things
be
work
ashamed of
now.
yourself.
But I was gonna say since I never really. I'm what?
No, carry
am I
on.
still delayed?
What you need to do is you need to summon your powers of white privilege and fix these tech issues right now. This is getting ridiculous.
You need to use your white privilege check. I know when I got mine in the mail, I used it to buy a gun like any red-blooded white American.
Okay, but he's gay, so it like cancels out. You can't be like gay and have white privilege. It's like
Funny you should say
Like-
that because the
Okay, wait, you guys
LGBT
talk-
movement is starting to count
Because I'm
out
gonna,
white
like-
gays.
that is true.
Like, white gays don't count anymore. They're just the
Yeah.
same as straight people. And then they're
You
going,
people.
well-
you guys talk for a minute.
oh, yeah,
but-
sure.
Try to fix this.
But yeah, they're saying, oh, we need to get rid of bisexuals because there's more than two genders. Pansexual is just bi for hipsters.
It gets really, really weird, and it kind of does a disservice because I think Mike was correct when he says, everything after the T is bullshit. I think that's about right. Is because everything else just gets so crazy that
Hold
it
on,
just
how
starts
many can you do past the
How-
T?
none.
No, you have to be able. It's the
There are a million.
LGBTQIASAA2POA. Yeah, I think I got it.
Oh my god, it's like you're reciting pi, like 3.145, whatever the fuck.
Okay, so going back to the notes I had on this, so I mentioned that I took the note saying Warren and Klobuchar, Bullock and Klobuchar both reference people in the audience, and then my next note: Warren and Klobuchar both shop at the same Red Jacket store.
Yeah, they were twinsing tonight.
Hey, Governor Hickenlooper is here too. Fucking hell, everyone respects everyone. Because how often did you hear that? Well, I respect this other candidate. No, you don't. No one respects anyone up there. My God, if you thought it would give you a 5% bump in the polls, you would be kneecapping the person next to you.
God. Well,
Don't
I
even
thought it
try
was
to
hilarious.
pretend otherwise.
I thought it was hilarious when you have Bernie and Hickenlooper both just like throwing up their hands at random moments, trying to one up each other. Like, I don't understand what the point of that was.
Oh,
It wasn't a
because-
Hick and Looper that was like, yeah, throw your hands up, buddy.
Well, yeah, Bernie
yeah,
threw
yeah.
his hands up, and Hickenlooper's like, yeah, go do that. It's going to do something. And then Bernie did it. And he went, well, I can do it too. And he throws his hands up because everybody is pretending to see me. I talk with my hands a lot, so I'm like this normally. But you
got Beto going.
You can tell.
You got the Beto
You
thing
can
going.
tell with guys like Bernie that they're just doing it to apply to people. They're trying to wave in the aircraft to land. You know. Oh,
Wait,
look
that
at
was
me.
a perfect impression.
I was promised pudding, and I
Hey,
believe
can you
the
guys hear me,
reparations
see
should
me?
be- Hey, he's back. He's alive.
He's back.
Okay, I think this is like super delayed. Can you hear me like right at this very second?
Yes, I can hear
We
you.
No.
can hear you right
Well,
this
it's
very
like
second,
it's
but
delayed
not
for me.
according to your voice. I mean,
I
not
don't know how
according to
much
your
the
video.
delay is for. I'm sorry.
Okay, but okay, I think I figured it out. So anyway, sorry.
Oh, now you're coming in good.
Yes,
Perfect.
finally. Oh my god, I can drink after I'm sorry. So let's say we're starting the stream now.
I love how you've got a beer and I'm just drinking gin straight from the bottle.
I
Have
hope
water.
people are still watching. I'm so sorry about this. So what did I miss? 'Cause my window.
We got naked for a bit.
I
Got a
hear
little freaky.
And I missed it.
the next part of Tim Ryan
missed it.
decided to be the Union Democrat. And he was like the only one on stage. That was interesting.
Yeah,
Tim Ryan is
Bernie's
so
like-
awkward and boring,
Yeah.
though.
he looks like he's like a deer in the headlight all the time.
Exactly.
well,
like
the
his
only
eyes
thing
were
I know
so
about
wide
Tim
open
Ryan
the
is-
whole time, and anytime.
Oh shit, that delay is coming back.
The bald one.
Yeah,
Mike keeps delaying, so I keep feeling he's like cutting in.
It's Delaney, the bald one, because Delaney looks
Yeah.
like a middle school principal who somehow snuck his way on stage.
Yeah.
yeah. I found it really funny when they were all debating various forms of Medicare for all.
Oh yeah, Delaney straight up attacked Bernie on that. He's like, his
I like
plan will
that.
create a 2-tier program for people who pay cash for healthcare and those who have substandard free care. And I'm sitting there going, Jesus, spitting fire.
I like that. He straight up said that that wasn't the American way. He literally said that because to take away the choice of people if they want their private health insurance or not. And I liked that. But then Bernie freaked the fuck out and got all angry. So
I thought that was amazing when he was like, "Don't wave your arms." I will. He's like, "Okay, I can do it too."
Let's see. Warren mentioned
There was
Trump
like a little pep step tonight, though.
Warren mentioned Trump locking up children. I have seen the cages of babies.
Oh.
You
Yeah,
fucking
that-
nut job.
Funny.
I can't with that. Like, I never understand. Are these people? Do they believe what they're saying? They're lying. Like, they can see the
No.
pictures of kids in
Elizabeth
cages
Warren
with
is an-
Obama, right?
Elizabeth Warren is an old school politician. She believes in nothing.
Yeah.
She believes in nothing
could-
except what will get her elected. That's why she stole Bernie's 2016 platform
I think this-
basically wholesale.
Yeah, I don't think they disagreed on any.
I think this
one
could be
thing
controversial,
tonight.
but like, I think she's strong.
And then Klobuchar comes out.
I think Warren is strong. I think she could win.
Oh, yeah. But Klobuchar comes out and goes, immigration does not diminish America. Immigrants are America.
Yeah.
What?
I know.
Is that why you want to use my taxes to pay for their health care? Because
She's
that's
literally
policy
from
that's going to go over great. I'm sorry, go ahead.
the
Olivia.
Midwest. I was talking about, but she hasn't experienced growing up in a place that is affected by a heavy wave of immigrants.
It's nonsense. It really is. And then, oh yeah, Trump is
You know what
now
I
a
think is very
racist and
interesting,
a
though, is that-
homophobe? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, how is he a homophobe?
Oh yeah, even then, he was the first 2016 Republican candidate who came out and said it doesn't matter if the gays can get married because that's the law of the land. And he said this like a week after going to a gay wedding, but now the man's a homophobe. Donald Trump is a racist and a sexist and a homophobe, and I saw him kick a puppy in the street. You should have seen it. It was terrible. The puppy was a democratic socialist, and that is why he is stepping on employees in these countries, because Bernie Sanders actually uttered the phrase, I am the most pro-worker candidate on this stage. What?
He said he was the most pro-union candidate too. I'm like, aren't you undergoing a dispute right now that you got upset that somebody leaked the details
Oh yeah,
of
yeah.
the labor dispute, and you came out and said that's not how this gets done, and basically tried to strong arm them into shutting up.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like, you are exactly personifying why unions shouldn't be around.
Bernie Sanders was saying he wanted to bring together the whole hemisphere to work on the immigration crisis.
Yeah, what globally?
Canada? Does Canada have a big immigration crisis we need? What about Chile or Uruguay? You know, when I hear about those people crossing the Uruguayan border, I get concerned.
You know what was interesting to me? He listed all these countries. He was like Honduras, El Salvador, but the one he conveniently left out was Venezuela, and I wonder why.
Venezuela is a shining example of democratic socialism in action.
He didn't mention it. It was crazy.
All you have to
He's
do
Venezuelan
is look at President
phobic.
Maduro, how well fed he is. That is how it is for the rest of society.
I thought friggin' Biden and Warren standing there together, they looked like friggin' American Gothic.
Oh my God. And Warren saying we need to fix this crisis at the border. Not 3 months ago, you were denying there was a crisis at the border.
Mm-hmm. Well, thing
it is just so hard to take anything that they say seriously.
Oh, and then Tim Ryan fucking coming out of the gate. No, I think Tim Ryan might have actually picked up a lot of the moderate vote. For the
Tim Ryan, I think.
Oh yeah, he came out good because I even have here in my notes. Oh shit, Tim Ryan, undocumented immigrants could buy health care too, just like everyone else. Oh
yeah. Yeah,
I think Bullock is the new like moderate choice because I liked what he said about guns. I like how he said he grew up like hunting and how he's an actual gun owner. Like half these Democrats, probably more than them, they don't have a gun. They don't know anything about guns.
Yeah,
that Bullock knows nothing about guns.
Really?
He's sitting there talking about, oh, I'm a hunter, I own guns, but then you start talking about the assault weapons ban and Pete. By the way, I demand that for the rest of this stream we call him Pete Booty Juice. Pete
today was the night that I realized I legitimately can't stand Pete Buttigieg because he's just like a little weasel.
Selling weapons in the street like the sort of weapons we had when I was in Afghanistan. First off, shut the fuck up before I slap the taste out of your mouth.
Wasn't he a naval reserve officer?
Yeah, we have a panel.
So he would not have been carrying around an assault weapon. He would have been carrying around a handgun.
An M9 pistol.
Oh, he was carrying around a fucking Louis Vuitton purse.
But typically they go out there and unless that they need it right then and there, they don't carry that stuff.
Mike, you better be careful. Somebody's going to say you're homophobic. Like internalized homophobia.
No, it's not internalized. It's external. I love myself. I hate that.
No, it's real. It's real homophobia. Okay.
Back to immigration. Every candidate on that stage pretended it's all just women with their young children crossing the desert on foot to seek asylum from, I don't know, the war-torn Panama? But what about the coyotes, the human traffickers, the slavers, the drug dealers, the career criminals? Yeah. You can call Donald Trump insane and xenophobic every day of the week if you want to. The fact of the matter is human traffickers are renting children to people trying to cross the border because they know the American government will take it easier on families.
Yeah, but
and also these Democrats always say when they're talking about illegal immigrant and children, but I thought we had equality. I thought women were equal and there's no differences between men and women. What happened?
But back to what he just said about the seesaws. Mike, did you see the seesaw video? It was on like NBC.
That was so fucking stupid.
What's the seesaw video?
They had like, you know, the big slats in the border wall. They had set up like these 3 long, I think they were like bright pink seesaws, and they had a video of like a Mexican person and an American person sitting on either side of the seesaw stuck between the wall. And I was like, oh my God, that's so emotional. It makes me want to throw out the complete idea of a sovereign nation so we can have more adults play on seesaws. That's amazing.
What's that great meme picture that says 14 images that will make you say, fuck having borders and law?
Exactly. That was one of those images. That should have been one of them.
So the thing that gets me with this whole immigration thing, so they're pushing this whole, you know, America's racist. We need reparations, which I'm sure we'll talk about more in depth later. But I'm like, so if America's racist, but you're also saying immigrants are America, are you saying immigrants are racist?
Whoa. Yes.
Yes. Yes and no. The white immigrants are racist. If you come from Europe, you're racist.
There was so much about everything, like Booty Juice claiming I was at a high school and a child asked me about gun safety and started shaking and crying. I'm like, yeah, because you're a sexual predator. Back away from him, gay boy.
That was like the meme that's like, I'm literally shaking right now. That's basically Pete.
Oh, yeah, and then Klobuchar said half the damn debate.
Which, first of all, he opened his thing saying about how Trump came within cheating distance of winning the election. Another thing that I three debates, not one mention of Mueller, of Russia. What happened? I thought this was like our national tragedy for 2 years, that it's all we heard about, and then we just move on to the next thing.
No, it's over. They literally ignored it. They saw the Mueller report and it wasn't the result they wanted.
Question about it. Nobody brought it up.
Not in
because a lot of times you watch these debates in something that doesn't get asked, they'll bring it up during whatever question that they're responding to. They didn't do that, nor did CNN bring it up at all. But hey, they had to bring up the tweet about Baltimore having rats.
And I think another thing that you're going to see that nobody in any of these debates will bring up is Elizabeth Warren's whole Pocahontas thing. Nobody's going to ask her that because she is their new anointed chosen one, I think.
Oh, you just wait till the time is right. And
when she said that.
They're trying to quietly downplay the whole Pocahontas thing. You know, they're trying to get everybody to forget about it. And then she's saying they're going, and on our Native American reservations. Oh my God.
No, y'all want to know why they did that? Because the Democrat
Girl Scout troop.
The debates were segregated though. Do you know that? Did you realize that this was all the white people and tomorrow is all like the minorities? Like they did that shit on purpose so nobody would ask that question.
Oh, that's true.
Elizabeth Warren.
Well, actually, did you guys see the whole?
Elizabeth Warren is at least.
Did you guys see that?
1,024th Native American.
You're right. She's a person of color.
She is less Native American
than
the average white ass person is in this country. Like the whitest person in this country is more Native American than Elizabeth Warren.
Sorry, what
did you guys see that whole?
Mikey?
Did you see that whole sham that they show, and they pulled the names out of a hat of who's going to be in which debate and who's going to stand where? It was such a crock of shit. And they had like 5 cameras, the overhead to see, nothing going on here. And meanwhile, they got everyone right where they want.
Yeah, when you have to make that big a deal of it,
there was not one person out of place. Yeah, those were like friggin' magnets or something.
And can I say, for the record, that Beto O'Rourke has pissed me off. He stole my people, not parties line.
Oh, shit, true.
He's been watching you. That's
first of all, Beto O'Rourke just strikes me as like a mouse who thinks he's a lion.
Beto O'Rourke is a child of extreme wealth and privilege. He spent his 20s and his teens just getting stoned and playing in a rock band. And now that he started a small business that his wealthy family could use as a tax haven, and he got bought into a city council, and he was like, oh, and I went to city council elections. Yeah, you were a city council member. Hey, I go to Walmart every day. You're a greeter.
He always sounds to me like a teenager who's trying to convince his parents to stay up past his curfew. Like he's just always very angsty and very jittery.
Oh yeah, he wants to be the how do you do fellow kids. The problem is he can't be because Buttigieg is younger than him. Booty Juice, who's 30.
We have unsafe space commenting. Who do you think will drop out next?
Ooh, well, let's see. Ryan had a good night, so probably him.
I hate to say this so much, but I don't think my girl Marianne has long for this world.
Oh, she's staying in for a
They
while.
did not let her say a word.
She's getting money.
Is she?
She's getting all that Republican money because we all want her to stay in.
They're donating to her because they want her at every debate.
Which I think is dumb because actually y'all are gonna think I'm crazy, but I think she makes a lot more sense than most of these Democrats running. I would vote for her or Biden.
I don't know.
I think she actually makes sense on some issues.
$500 billion to reparations.
Aside from that, she talks about like racial shit way too much. But other than that, like one thing I really like is she talked about how we should have a department of. I think that's actually a good idea. And she talks about like agricultural. She talks about a lot of things that people aren't addressing. I think she actually makes some sense.
She does. And then Booty Juice is going, we need to get money out of politics. It says the guy who got a whole bunch of money from Big Tech during the last cycle. During the last fundraising cycle.
I swear,
piles of money.
I swear, I think Pete Buttigieg's whole campaign is like some money laundering operation because he is number one in fundraise a vice president and shit. Meanwhile, 7% in the polls. He's 2% in New Hampshire.
Like 3% total.
This does not add up.
And can I just say, this is off topic. This is regarding one of the people hosting the debate, not the debaters themselves. Don Lemon always looks like a twerp.
I cannot stand him.
I'm surprised they had him in the debate. And like,
he wasn't even trying to be non-biased. He was very, very obviously had a political agenda, which was so inappropriate.
And I thought it was also inappropriate how they bring him in just to talk about race. Like, it's like, well, now we'll go to our black guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, at least let him ask about other things.
Here is our designated person of color to speak about our person of color topics. By the way, I have not yet, to this point in my life, heard a good answer for how is person of color less racist than colored person.
Can I get some insight onto that?
Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Olivia, please.
I actually made a tweet about that the other day because I had been consistently using the term person of color just because that's like the norm. But then somebody really told me to think about it more. I read this article by Kira Davis. She's like this Black conservative author, writer, person. And it really made me think because when Black people in this country were referred to as colored, it was, there was a white fountain and a colored fountain. And the white fountain was for white people and the colored fountain was for Black people, right? That was before this wave of, we have now like Asian, Middle Eastern, Hispanic immigration. And now those people are also called colored or people of color. And I feel like it does a disservice to Black people and other groups to lump us all together because when we were the colored or the others, these people were not struggling the same with Black people. So I feel like it doesn't make sense to put us all together, especially when like some minorities are not necessarily dark.
They want to lump everyone together because it's okay. You are just like all those other people of color. But I have my own plan for this. I want to change the terms that we use because you change the language, you change how people think of it. No longer will we use Black or African American or person of color. They will now be referred to as Mocha Americans. And white people will be Peach Americans.
I feel like
I think it's just like such a term of manipulation because
then you will be a latte American.
Okay, I'm like white chocolate. That's the way.
White chocolate.
I think it's just such a term of manipulation because, I think that there are specific issues that impact African Americans. And now person of color, every time it's referring to illegal immigrants, it's referring to all of these things. And it's a way to distract from those actual issues because now the banner of person of color are just illegal aliens.
That's what I'm saying. We have Black children in the hood. Like we were talking about Baltimore yesterday. We have Black children in Baltimore in the hood suffering because of certain policies. But then we lump them all together with people of color. Like, oh, Donald Trump hates people of color because he doesn't like illegal immigration. People of color this, people of color that. Meanwhile, we have people of color Americans that are being lumped in with everybody else in the freaking world, which I don't like. So I don't think I will continue to use that term because it's so PC that it came full circle, and to me it's not like PC anymore, if that makes sense.
Yeah, what the hell do you want to say?
On the topic,
no, I agree with you,
of Bernie Sanders in Baltimore, Bernie Sanders said Donald Trump is a pathological liar, but I tell the truth when he referred to Baltimore as a third world country.
But hey, FYI,
I actually didn't
newsflash,
even think of that. That's true.
Baltimore is a shithole.
It really is.
It
Like,
is,
unironically.
especially like West Baltimore. It's terrible. It is a piece of shit.
Yeah, I live
That has
an
nothing to
hour
say about
outside
the
Baltimore.
people, but it's an awful city.
I was just trying to type.
Well, I think all of these.
quickly. Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying, all of these grandstanding liberals too will never go in a 10-mile radius of.
No.
There.
They live in their.
I think people
their
affected by
little,
illegal immigration.
They live in their little
gated
walled-off,
communities with their
white-only
armed guards.
Yeah. And then they're like, well, you need to give up your guns so that my guards don't feel threatened. But then,
Actually, speaking
go ahead.
of which, though, so in different things that they're addressing tonight, one consistent thing that drives me absolutely crazy with Republicans is I feel like when they don't like the Democrats' solutions to a clear problem, they have no solutions. And I think that three things where this is really obvious are guns and the shooting issue, not guns specifically, but the issue of shootings, the environment, and healthcare. I feel like Republicans just have no solutions, no policies for these things.
See, here's the thing, though. It's the AR-15. Everybody points to that as, oh, it's this demon weapon, you know. They call it a ghost gun because if you push the button on the bottom, that unlocks the cheat mode and allows you to go through walls and kill more babies. But the AR-15 platform has been for sale to civilians in this country for over 50 years.
Yeah, it was military that saw how good that was, and they
the guy created it, and then he entered it in the competition for the new military rifle, and then he created the civilian variant, which was the AR-15. But the AR-15, it's been around for half a century, but this mass shooting thing is more recent because it's a cultural problem. And nobody's wanting to address that.
Obviously, mental health.
They're wanting to deal with the symptoms. They're wanting to,
but they're wanting to make it all about white supremacy.
Yeah, like if we want to just ban the guns, okay, then how about we go to Germany where they're having problems with people borrowing vans and plowing them through crowded areas so they have to put up big barriers? Or what about if we were like London where there were over 500 acid attacks last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're not guns.
I would rather be shot than have acid thrown in my face.
I think it's obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. Oh my God, no, that's not my face. But I think we obviously know it's obviously there's a mental health component, but also
I just touched my glasses.
Obviously, there's a mental health component, but I think it's also a law enforcement issue. We should be identifying these people before it gets to that point. For me, I used to be the typical anti-Second Amendment, anti-gun person, and the thing that really changed my mind on that was like a year or two ago, I had a stalker who had an illegal gun, and it took me like 3 weeks of going to the cops over and over. This guy was like sending dead animals to my house and threatening to kill me and shit. It took me 3 weeks of going to the cops over and over before they would arrest him. So it really rely on that.
Yeah, and you're still having trouble getting a permit to have a gun.
Oh yeah, I applied then, and in New York they say you need a reason for it. More of a reason than that. No. But I mean, and we never want to address the actual reason, the actual things that are causing these, like law enforcement, mental health. How about the fact that 5-year-olds are being drugged up on all these pharmaceuticals now?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, there's
you see that all of these.
There's a disconnect in how parents get to raise their children, because more and more you're having to fall under this predetermined line, and there's all these assumptions into childcare and education and how that's being built. And because we're depriving these children, the education system is not teaching children critical thinking. It is teaching rote memorization.
Yes.
And without that ability for critical thinking, they can't handle things. I'm sorry, I know it's a cliche. People are talking about, oh, the snowflakes are the problem. But if you cannot give if you are unable to give your children the tools with which to grow and advance as a person, then they're going to react in childish ways. They're going to stomp their feet and throw their hands up in the air, and they're going to they're going to think they have no other alternative because it's just like a video game. You get a gun and you kill people and they don't bother you again. And because we're not having these conversations with people anymore, we're not sitting our children down and telling them there are ways of handling your emotions. There are ways of thinking about things. You can be challenged. You have the capacity to be wrong, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you just dragged my entire generation.
No, I'm counting my generation in this too.
Yeah, mine also.
I'm on the very beginning of the millennial generation.
I'm at the end. I think middle. I don't know, but I think that's so true what you said, that we're teaching memorization, because like with me personally, I don't think I've talked about this here before, but I'm actually a high school dropout, and when I was in school, the things that they teach, just memorize this, and things that are so useless, like hours of translating Latin and all these things that you'll never need to know. And all of my intellectual interests as an adult, we weren't taught basic civics or debate or critical thinking or anything like that. And the intellectual interests that I have in adult, I learned about after I got out of school. I had to teach myself all of these things.
Well, you bring up education, and it's funny because the Democrats brought up, the racism stuff and how schools, we need to stop the segregation in schools. I'm like, the segregation that you're perceiving that's happening in schools is because of Democrat policies.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Right now, because you are not allowing charter schools. You are not allowing
the most segregated
people to take their children outside of their own districts.
The most segregated schools in America right now are located in New York State.
Oh yeah, and I also think that it is this culture, because back when I was in high school, it was a very racially diverse school, probably like 50-50 black white. And you never heard about these constant racial things. It wasn't even, I really feel like back then kids did not see other people as black or white. Like everybody was just friends with everyone. And now if I ever pass that neighborhood and pass that school, I see kids coming out of it and it looks like segregation has returned. Black kids stay with black kids, white kids stay with white kids. And I think that's really sad. And I think that is because of all of this identitarianism.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's identitarianism, and it's the Alinsky and what's the one douchey teacher there in Chicago that lives in Chicago that was one of the Weather Underground.
What the hell's his name?
But
I forgot his name.
They teach, if you listen to their rhetoric, they teach kids to not respect
William Ayers.
Elders. Bill Ayers, yeah. They teach kids to go against their parents, to say no to their parents, to not agree with them, to question authority and have no respect for authority. So what happens is, like, when I was growing up, we'd be out there playing in the streets and stuff, and when cars were coming, you knew to get out of the way. If you got in trouble or you were causing trouble anywhere out in the neighborhood, that any adult could punish you, and they would call your parents, and they would let you know, like, hey, your kid's at my house. I caught him doing this. And man, if somebody else caught you doing something, you weren't only going to get it from whatever neighbor, you were going to get it worse from your parents, and you were scared of that, and you respected adults, and you didn't have this stuff happening that much. Now I drive down the street sometimes, and there'll be kids in the middle of the road, and they won't move out of the road. They just look at you like, what the hell are you doing in the road? And
I know it's.
I think it's.
I kind of low key believe this, but have you ever just taken the time, sat down with your children, and hit them?
I do. We have every Wednesday night at 8. It's whooping time. And, I get out.
Some kids need that.
We've gotten off topic. Can we get back to the debate? Because I have something I want to say.
Yeah. Sorry.
Elizabeth Warren said the phrase, healthcare companies have sucked billions out of our healthcare system 5 times in the span of 10 minutes.
You were counting.
I was. I lost my mind.
She really annoyed me the entire debate. I really don't like her voice. I don't like her hand movements. I don't like her at all.
She does know that healthcare companies are part of the healthcare system, right?
No, she doesn't.
And
You're
they
giving me
never
too much credit.
address the fact that healthcare is a sixth of the economy. How do you just remove a sixth of the economy?
And healthcare is the fastest growing portion of federal spending. It's not the military. It's not fucking foreign aid. It's healthcare. And
nobody mentioned how the failure of Obamacare. And they talk about, I thought it was funny how they talk about.
They don't think it failed. They don't use it.
No.
Well, they don't think it failed. They just completely ignored it because they know it failed. And they brought up the taxes on the middle class. At least Bernie, even though he looked like he wanted to avoid, and probably if they brought it out to him, he would probably say, well, that's not what I meant or whatever. But what's so funny is Obamacare was the largest tax on the middle class in American history. And everybody seems to forget that.
Oh, yeah.
And Obamacare was a complete debacle. They're all sitting there talking about all these people without healthcare. I'm like, you guys had the super majorities, House, Senate, and you had the presidency for 2 years. You get Obamacare through, and it completely fails.
Okay.
These people that are on all these plans that you're saying they got these inadequate plans, they're terrible, they don't cover everything. All these sob stories. I know so and so, Joe Schmo's kid.
Every candidate that said, "Oh, I know this person who's in the audience with us tonight," should have been dragged off the stage and beaten about the head and shoulders with salamis.
I'm so tired of that crap.
Well.
But yeah, you said they're telling these stories. I'm like, you do realize, all this stuff is because of Obamacare and those exchanges. Like my healthcare, I used to have amazing. I do again because I'm paying an arm and a leg for it. But I used to have Cadillac healthcare insurance. It was awesome. It was exactly what I wanted. I selected what I wanted to pay for, and it was great. I hardly put anything out of pocket on it. But, I paid a good chunk up front. Obamacare destroyed that. I couldn't have that plan anymore. Instead, I had to get a plan where I had to pay all this extra money for pap smears and stuff. I'm like,
whoa. But did they pay for your bikini
Well, you might just
waxing?
identify as that.
Yeah.
Did you get one?
Well, yeah. If
as long as
there,
you're paying for it, show up. Be like, touch my taint.
That's kind of fun.
I feel like you would need nuclear energy to wax you, Greg.
Klobuchar
they had to wear the hazmat suit.
Oh yeah,
Jessica, you need type B.
The excuses they come up with. Who, when they asked Klobuchar, who on this stage is making promises to get elected? Because she said they're just making promises.
And then she won't say it.
Her answer was, "Well, Trump lies."
Yeah.
Great, thank you. And then she goes, "Well, we're more worried about winning an argument than an election. You could have fooled me because it looks to me like you're losing both."
Yeah. Yeah, it's the same repeated talking points again and again. There's nothing new coming out from them at all. And there are legitimate criticisms that they could be making, but they don't. They just, it's the healthcare thing. Like, well, how do you have any leg to stand on? You guys were trumpeting Obamacare, and now you're trying to tell me that it's not going to raise taxes. That Warren's wouldn't talk about the taxes. Said, well, it's going to be a net reduction in cost for the middle class. But yeah, it's talking about zero deductibles and zero copayment. How do you pay for that? You can't. If you get a plan that has a zero copay and a zero premium, you are going to pay an astronomical amount of money for that.
Oh yeah, and then and who was it that called Bernie out on it? And they were going, the fact of the matter is, if you don't raise taxes, but you just rely on the money Medicare gets now, you're going to get substandard health care.
I think it was Delaney.
It was Delaney, yeah.
Oh, I loved that all of the 0% candidates just decided to attack.
Yeah.
Fuck it. If we're going down,
they should.
down swinging. And I do have to give, I hate to say this, but I have to give Robert Francis O'Rourke some credit.
On the one issue, what was it borders or something?
Only person who said he would work with Donald Trump to put the American people first.
Oh, yeah.
I liked Bullock where he said, he talked about Ben playing.
Yeah. How do you pay for that was a Republican talking point.
Yeah.
Well, it
Platitude.
seems that
Bullock was the one that was quoting the Obama administration to take out Bernie and Warren. So even Obama's admin was saying this stuff doesn't work, and they wrote the damn thing.
And then Warren says the climate crisis is the existential crisis of our world. I could have sworn during the last debate you said Trump was the existential crisis for our world.
Well, that's the thing is it seems that they were all going after Bernie Sanders and nobody's really going after Elizabeth Warren. So I cannot stand. Yeah. I mean, I can't stand Elizabeth Warren, but and I can't see her even more because I think that she could win. So what do you guys think about that? Because I 150,000% think that she is going to be the nominee. And I think she has a shot to win. What do you guys think?
I think they want her to be the nominee because they think she'll be like Hillary. But
talk about Warren.
There's Kamala Harris as well.
I think Warren is just massively unlikable. And that was a big thing that lost Clinton. And like she's farther left than Clinton was. At least Clinton could come out and she's been around long enough with enough experience that she could make a semblance of sense on certain things. Because even like during the debates against Bernie, she was challenging Bernie, saying like you can't just promise these things and not explain how to pay for it. You got to pay for this stuff, and even then, like she just was horribly unlikable. And Warren is right there. I mean, she's not even that popular in her own state, except it just the Republicans are really not popular.
See,
in that state.
I think they're trying to back Kamala. But
I think Kamala has a better chance.
Say what you want about Elizabeth Warren. She is politics as usual.
Yeah.
I mean, for all she talks a good game, she does not rock the boat. But the Kamala Harris, she genuinely scares me.
See, I don't think Kamala is likable at all. I think people are going to look at her history. I think people are going to look at her history as a cop and as a truancy officer and see her locking up people. I don't think people are going to like that.
Mandatory minimums as an attorney, a district attorney, or the attorney general for California. One of those. She backed mandatory minimums. She backed jailing nonviolent drug offenders, and now she's turning around and going, "Well, let's just decriminalize the border."
But I think I really feel like I don't know. I really feel like voters are willing to disagree with the candidate if they feel like you really stand for something, which I think explains a lot of people voting for Trump who maybe don't agree with everything with him. And I think that of the major candidates, the only people who have the appearance that they have convictions are Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. I think Kamala Harris is so transparent. So I think oh, yeah, of course, Yang and Tulsi Gabbard and some of them, but I mean of the people who have a chance of winning.
I love that I wrote in my notes here, just Warren's green energy plan is idiotic.
Oh, did you catch also how the moderator asked about the Green New Deal? And she was like, well, something like, this is a brave, sweeping, bold vision. I'm like, oh, not at all biased.
It was Delaney that called him out. Like, the Green New Deal was like 10 pages on the climate and then 390 pages on government jobs and shit like that. It was great.
Yeah, he was like, you might as well just FedEx the win to Trump.
I liked that.
Yeah, that was
like, good for you.
They even admit that now. The guy who's Chakrabarty, what's his name? Who's AOC's mastermind, admitted that the Green New Deal had nothing to do with the environment, and it was just their opportunity to enact all of these socialist policies.
Well, if you go into any of these protests and stuff for climate change, it's not about climate change. These people are like down with capitalism and all this other stuff.
Yeah. The Green New Deal is fundamentally an anti-capitalist bill.
Yeah. And but there's another thing where, when it comes to climate change, I don't like Democrat solutions, but it drives me insane that Republicans have no environmental policies. Like, you don't have to agree with the ones that Democrats are proposing, but say something.
I agree. Climate, we do have to deal with the climate. It is an issue that is going to come home to roost. I don't think it's going to come home to roost in 10 years, like Booty Juice said. But then you've got Bullock going, Republicans won't even admit climate change is a problem. Fuck off, Bullock. I mean, I know there's a lot of Republicans out there going, no, this is an issue. I just don't think it's the most pressing issue.
I just don't really hear many Republican. Like, I know a lot of Republican people who think that, but I don't hear it coming from Republican politicians.
They're more
I don't see any environmental policies.
Things. Like, they're more focused on, that do these things to clean the parks up or have, it's like they're very, because they look at issues like small little things, like let's do this, where the Democrats look in these big sweeping. We want to encompass every single thing with this bill, as opposed to like, okay, well, there is this issue, which is a part of this overarching issue, but let's just get a bill that fixes this and see how that works.
Oh yeah, and then you got Ryan talking about regenerative agriculture, talking about carbon capture devices, which do exist, are a thing. And like, he's one who actually seemed on that stage like he had a plan that didn't involve putting up the Soviet flag.
But
yeah, he had more of a traditional Democratic plan, big government plan, but at least it was like, okay, you're doing something, you're actually providing some kind of details about something.
Oh yeah, and then immediately after that, Bernie goes, I get tired of Democrats afraid of big ideas. Don't tell me we can't take on the fossil fuel industry. Nobody said that, Bernie.
Just because an idea is big doesn't mean it's not retarded.
No one on that stage said that we could not fight the fossil fuel industry. Personally, I know that one of the reasons I'm not a Republican, one of the reasons that I'm more of a moderate, is because I truly believe that corporations should fear the government.
Yes, I agree.
Like all this, our trade policies being written by billion-dollar corporations. The problem is that has an element of truth.
Yes.
There are portions of our trade policies that are being written by lobbyists.
Well, and that's called crony capitalism. And,
and if I got elected,
should be addressed.
I do have this thing that I'm not going to say no to corporate donations, but I am going to mock them for donating to me. Like, you have no power over me. Why would you do this stupid thing, you fucking idiot?
That's how I feel about reparations. Like, if Elizabeth Warren wants to give me reparations, I'm gonna be like, okay. I'd be like,
you're going to have to.
How are you going to accomplish that? I think, well, it's funny because who was it that said we need to stop doing like the research on this and stuff? I'm like, I think what you want to do is stop doing the research because you don't want it to blow back in your face that there's a very small percentage of people left in this country that are actually descendants from slaves. We've had so many immigrants roll through this country in generations that I don't think it's nearly as big as you want, but it's not a people that were descendants of slaves that's given money. They're like, no, don't research that. Anybody that looks black, they must have been a descendant of slave and give them money so we can pander to these identities.
Like, are they using the old segregation one single drop rule? What's going on here? Who's going to decide who gets what? Also, Elizabeth Warren actually uttered the phrase environmental racism.
I know.
The
healthcare racism.
Yeah, what the hell is that?
The jet stream is funded by the KKK and the NRA. I'm sorry, same thing.
Okay, Unsafe Space correctly said 95% of American blacks can trace their history to slavery in America. I did not know that.
I have my grandmother and my grandfather are both descendants of slaves, and my grandmother was actually a sharecropper in North Carolina.
Oh wow,
interesting.
How do they feel about this issue? Is your family like more liberal or more conservative or?
My grandma's not really political, but my grandfather, who grew up in like the industrial age in Detroit, and then he came down to DC and was like a civil rights activist type person. He is more of an independent person. I don't think he would support reparations. And he's like 85. Like, he grew up during segregation and everything, but he's a very like pick yourself up by your own bootstraps type of person, and that's how he raised our family. So I can't say that he would be in support of it, but like me, if somebody handed me a check, I would be like, okay. Like,
yeah, same.
That's what they're banking on. That's what they're banking on, is that well, they're like, well, 78% or whatever it was of blacks support reparations. Like, well, yeah, because it's free money.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I would take it too. But the thing is, too, that I think nobody's addressing is that I really feel like if you want to see real racism unleashed past reparations, like I feel like the resentment that will unleash of feeling like there are different standards for different people. You'll have all these white people who feel like, oh, I work hard, nobody's handing me anything. And I feel like it'll just create further segregation and further resentment between blacks and whites.
Oh, yeah. You think identity politics and you think the racial divide right now of animosity is bad. Like, just wait until they ever got reparations passed.
Exactly, because you'd have Jay-Z getting a check. You'd have Jay-Z getting a check, and then some like poor barefoot white kid in the Appalachia gets nothing. You know what I mean? Like that would just create the KKK would revive itself if that happened.
I've actually had somebody tell me that a white homeless person on the street is more privileged than Barack Obama and Oprah.
Well, they're an idiot.
Oh yeah. Then Booty Juice starts talking about systemic racism. Like, I'm sorry, Mr. Pete Booty Juice.
He is racism. He feels like it is part of him.
Apply for a job and you're black, you're less likely to be called.
The thing about systemic racism that I feel like I have a different opinion than most Republicans, because I do think it exists, but not in the way that liberals think it exists. Because when I think of systemic racism, I think of the fact that Black communities have more they have more gun regulations, they have more marijuana regulations, they have segregated schools, they don't have private schools, they don't have charter schools. That's what I feel like this systemic racism comes about, but it's not by white supremacy, because the majority of the people that lead these places are Black Democrats. Like Baltimore, the last 3 mayors were female Black women.
Democrats.
So I feel like, there are.
Let me speak for you.
Basically, so there are policies that negatively affect Black people more than white people, but it's put in place by Democrats and often Black Democrats. So I don't know if I would call it systemic racism, because that kind of plays into that leftist narrative, but there definitely is an imbalance in this country, and I think that if the GOP did more outreach, they could fix that, but they don't really want to do that right now.
I couldn't agree more.
There is something we all have to talk about, though, something very serious from this debate.
Mm-hmm.
And I quoted it right here. The dark psychic force of collectivized hatred Donald Trump is using to divide America.
Period.
He has reached into our psyches and blown our chakras to smithereens.
Dark psychic forces.
Oh, I love it. Like, it's true though, because there are times where I'm just walking, I'll be around some Black people, and all of a sudden I'll just say horrible things, and I know it wasn't me that said it. It was like a dark psychic energy that forced me to say these racist things. It wasn't me.
All behind Greg. It's Black.
She is a delight.
But this stuff is so ridiculous.
Here's the thing.
I love the fact that...
And then Marianne was talking about communities of color, and she's talking about that small community in South Carolina that was going to be the next Flint, Michigan. And she goes, and I live in Grosse Pointe. You know that wouldn't happen here. You're incredibly wealthy, and you live with the incredibly wealthy. That is not a good example.
She would Karen all about it if it did happen there.
If you had a poor white community and then a poor Black community, you could make that comparison. The problem is you are conflating race and money. And that's the same thing. And that's
what they always do, though.
What Beto did too, when Beto was talking about, the Muslim ban. It's not a Muslim ban. That is a racist statement. Olivia, I know you've never met me before, and I apologize if I'm coming on a little strong right now. Would you like me to tell you how calling it a Muslim ban is racist?
Sure.
What is the highest population Muslim country in the world?
India, probably.
Indonesia.
Oh, okay.
Which is Southeast Asian. So, and no travel's banned from there. The 7 countries that did have travel banned were Middle Eastern. So the people who call it a Muslim ban are conflating Muslim with brown person.
That's a good point.
Yep.
Like,
Which also the list of those countries, those 7 countries, which first of all, if we're going to have any sort of travel ban, should it not include Saudi Arabia? Of course not, though, because Democrats and Republicans are up Saudi Arabia's ass all the time.
Mhm.
But those 7 countries by the Obama administration, and they don't talk about that. And,
yeah,
and let me say, too, because it's somebody, when during the 2016 election, when Trump was running and he said the words, "We will ban Muslims," for me, that was sort of like a red line where it became that it wasn't any sort of consideration that I might vote for him. So the fact that that has not happened, and they try and act like it has anyway.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's just
And then
ridiculous.
they always fall back to the old talking points. Donald Trump's a racist, a sexist, a homophobe now all of a sudden. I mean, the guy.
Yeah, because if that had happened, if there was a Muslim ban, I'm somebody who would give a shit about it.
Oh yeah,
it hasn't happened.
There are 3.5 million Muslims in this country. I'm not going to stand by and let these people be fucking oppressed in that way. Like, there's a Muslim ban. Excuse me, hold the phone. What? But calling it a Muslim ban is just lying to people. This is why I lost so many friends during the 2016 election, because they would post this nonsense, and I would be going, "Oh, it is a ban on travel from state sponsors of terror that were identified during the Obama administration." And then they go, "Cal, I didn't know you were a Trump supporter."
Yeah,
I love the sweet relief.
Have you guys seen that video that's like, "Stop making me defend Trump"? That's me.
I love that. Yeah. Stop making me.
But this is what they always do, though.
Like the internet group, they're really funny.
Oh yeah.
But this is Democrats' move that they always go to, is they constantly conflate their policies with people's identities. Did you guys catch towards the end when Pete Buttigieg said that somebody is not a real Christian if they don't want a $15 minimum wage? What does that have to do with anything?
To church or anything? I'm sorry, but I don't think you should be allowed to invoke somebody's religion if you don't follow that religion.
Well, he's just,
if you're sitting there going,
he's created this lie in his head.
I don't get it. It would be like if I was going, the gay community should abide by my clogs and thongs for everyone.
Yeah, and those are the reasons why he will never go that far, and he will not get the nomination, is because even to liberals, like, that shit just turns them off like big time.
God, I got pissed off at that, and and I was enjoying. Okay, I wasn't enjoying it. It was a hellish experience that I just hated every instant of. I got a terrible headache during the debate. Oh yeah.
I think though, like, in a couple years, maybe people will look back on this debate and see Tim Ryan and Steve Bullock as sort of the canary in the coal mine, and be like, "Oh, maybe people should have listened to them more."
Yeah, everybody on that stage was pretending that the Trump tax cut only affected the wealthy.
Yeah,
it provably did not. It was
right.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, right before this debate, this proves, like, the state of the Democrat Party is a DCCC executive director forced to resign because she's white.
God damn.
This is the state of the Democrat Party now.
Oh yeah, and then
absolute state.
Have you noticed they used to talk about, the millionaires are the problem, but now it's the billionaires are the problem. Because everyone on that stage,
they're millionaires.
That's why Warren's start going, it's time to tax the top 1/10 of the 1%. Yeah, because if we just tax the 1%, you'd be on that list, Warren. And so would Buttigieg, and so would
Bernie,
Delaney, and Ryan, and Marianne Williamson, and all of them fuckers.
Yeah. Let's talk about the $15 minimum wage and how bad of an idea that is.
I'd love to win more.
If we paid everybody $1 million an hour, we'd all be millionaires.
That's right.
That's what I was saying, is they don't apply that logic and think, why don't we make the minimum wage $1 million an hour? Why do we not do that? Because they couldn't afford it and they'd be out of business.
Well, that's like when they do the man on the street interviews with these various conservative outlets or libertarian outlets that go out there and ask these people, and they ask them, you know, about the $15 minimum wage. Like, oh yeah, that's great, that's awesome. And they're like, people need a living wage. And like, well, why not make it $1,000 an hour? Like, well, that's going too far. That's probably not going to be good. Like, so what's the, you know, what do you think is too much? You know, and then all of a sudden they start realizing, like, oh wait, there's ramifications. You can't just make other people pay this amount of money, but the Democrats in their head, because most of these Democrats have never actually worked in their life.
Oh, yeah,
They've
never had a job outside of politics. He has been in politics his whole life.
And he was not in politics until he was like 40. So he literally didn't work until he was 40. These people have not worked for a company. They've not started their own business, most of them. They don't understand that it's completely untenable for small businesses, but big corporations are fine with it because they can eat that cost and then throw it right back on the products, and it'll level out for them mostly. But it'll end up everybody, instead of a $5 hamburger, is paying like a $9.50 hamburger.
And they all want to get rid of all the student debt. They know that student debt pays for stuff, right? Like, what do they think happens to the money that people pay towards their student debt? Like, the government gave you their money so you could give them the money back so they can use the money for stuff.
So I'm looking at the comments. Unsafe Space said, "I love the idea of automation and robotic startups."
Yeah, well, that's what they're all talking about. Like,
if you guys have, by the way, if you guys have any questions or anything, leave them in the comments. If you guys have super chats.
Yes, give us your fucking money.
But I'm looking at the comments.
We're poor socialists. We need super chats.
I am literally sitting here without pants on.
Oh, baby,
I'm literally
now it's a party
shaking right now. Please.
Oh, and then they're all acting like Trump started the Afghanistan war. Like, we need to get the soldiers out of Afghanistan. Donald Trump has caused more. He said he would get.
Did you guys catch when Bernie Sanders said, we're not going to pretend that we have a magic solution for this one issue? I'm like, why not? You do it with every other issue.
Yeah,
we just need to fight the fossil fuel industry. That is what will fix healthcare in this country. Get rid of all the gas cars. I co-sponsored a bill to make sure that if you drive a gas-powered car, you will be shot in the street.
Yeah, but yeah, none of them address the fact that, like, oh yeah, we want to bring all this electric cars and these batteries, but they need to be made in America. Like, you can't make them in America because we don't have the resources to mine for them.
The rare earth metals that are in modern batteries come from one mine in Mongolia.
And those people are treated like some of the worst you could.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
it's one of the worst ecological disasters. And then they're talking about, oh, well, we can't compete with China. Yes, because China is heading towards an ecological disaster of a scale unparalleled in the earth. They built the largest dam in the world, the Three Gorges Dam, a dam so large that it causes miniaturized local earthquakes. And then they immediately moved in whole villages worth of people in the open space created when they built the dam. Tens of thousands of people will die when that dam goes, and it's already leaking water. They have smog days so bad people have to wear masks in cities like Shanghai. Like, they got this big. China turned into such a powerful, dangerous economic problem because they're heavily subsidizing their industries. That's why they outcompete the world in steel, because the government basically pays them to sell their steel, undercutting everyone else. And they did away with all environmental regulations to create this economic juggernaut, this industrial behemoth that churns up people so badly that they install nets in the factories so people can't jump off the roof.
Yeah, which will not last, and that's the big thing, is people don't realize, like, this is a model that cannot sustain itself.
And nobody is acknowledging this. They are building towards a disaster that I cannot accurately comprehend, but will lead to the deaths of millions.
Yeah. But yet
Something I feel very
because like the biggest, by far the biggest emitter of carbon, which I still don't see as bad. Like I don't see carbon dioxide as something bad. They call it like a greenhouse gas and all that stuff. I'm like, yeah, well, plants need that. Anytime I ask somebody to explain osmosis to me, then they get a little pissy because plants have to take carbon dioxide and convert it to oxygen. That's why around the biggest carbon emitters, which is volcanoes, it's lush green. But that's a little off topic. But we act in America like we can control the weather. Like we can, through our policies, have an actual impact on climate change. Like, no, that's just going to be a very drastic economic impact that's going to hurt us. And China's going to take advantage of it, and they're not going to do shit.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, we only got 10 years left. We got 12 years left, depending on which candidate
they can't even agree on an amount of time.
Yeah.
According to Twitter, it's 14 months. So say goodbye to your children.
Shows what you know. I'm bitter and alone.
And you will die bitter and alone in 14 months. So
Unfortunately, yes.
find
They
some
also,
children.
again, well, they always act though as if, like, if you don't agree with their policy, you just want the world to burn. But with the Paris Accord, for example, there's like a minimum that scientists and environmentalists have said that a minimum temperature we need to hit to reverse the effects or something. This Paris Accord would take us, I think it's like $100 trillion over the next however many number of years to get less than 1% of the way there. And no other country is held to any sort of standard.
Was it
It's
Ryan?
a bad deal.
We have to innovate our way out of this. Say what you want about China, but China has only been able to advance as far as they have because they basically steal everybody else's shit.
Yeah, they are not innovative
at all. They steal their
10%
intellectual
out
properties, they steal everything, and then they just do it massive and hope it works. And it has been working because nobody's been willing to actually compete with this. But we have a base of technical knowledge that is insane. And if we took 1,000 people and put them in a room, or 1,000 smart people who are properly educated on this, and put them in a room and said, figure out a way to cut carbon emissions in this country. You have 6 months and you have a budget of such and such dollars. I would be amazed at what comes out of it. Like, we have the ways we have to, whoever said that in the debate was right. We have to innovate our way out of this problem.
Yeah, I think that was Ryan that actually said
Although
that.
I refuse to say with all due respect, because that's a meaningless statement at this point.
Yeah, it means none. Classic liberal said, the same people who tell us there's no scientific difference between men and women tell us we don't believe in science.
Yeah.
Someone also said how much for Mike to take his top off.
How much for Mike? Yeah.
$20. $20.
That's a bit much. I'm in bad shape right now. Like $1.
$20 super chat.
Somebody send $1 in the super chat.
And then you will all be blinded.
I'm in horrible shape right now, and I got an awful farmer's tan today. I hate that shit.
Oh my God, you can actually get whiter?
Elizabeth Warren goes, I have 3 older brothers who served in the military. During what? The Civil War?
Yeah, for the wrong side.
They were fighting the
But I
Indians.
digest.
Nuke unless someone else uses one first. It's a bit late at that point, don't you think?
Tripster60 says, sup, Mike.
Question.
Sup.
I have an important question for Olivia, though.
Yes.
As somebody that is terrifyingly in shape and a monster on the mat.
Oh, I am not in shape, sir. Right now, no.
Well, you could have just lied.
Compared to us, you are.
Have you ever looked at going like MMA?
The reason I started wrestling was because I did do MMA, and like my background before that, I'm a black belt in Taekwondo and a blue belt in BJJ, and then I got into doing MMA. But I didn't think my ground game was ready to start doing it competitively. So my freshman year in high school, I like quit all my other sports and started doing wrestling. But then I liked it so much, I just like never went back to MMA. But like after my college career is over, I might go back. I don't know.
You should totally just start going and practicing up so that
Oh my god.
when you're done with college, you can be the next belt holder in the UFC or something.
Oh my god.
I want to see you destroy people like Amanda Nunes destroys people.
I wish to see
I
you
want
do
to. I want to. People used to call, like my last name is Rondo. Sometimes people used to call me Ronda Rousey, like back in high school. I thought that was fucking funny. Oh my god, wait, somebody sent a super chat, Mike.
Oh wait, how much you got?
Mike.
$2? Take it off.
$2. Somebody said $5.
And 5 now. Wolf.
Take them off. Take it off. Take it off.
$13 left. You got to get it.
I'm in horrible shape.
Take
First
it
of all,
off.
thank you, Classic Liberal, the Tame the Watcher. I'm in really bad shape right now.
Yeah, but
I don't think they
there's
care.
$13 more.
You promised them. You promised them.
Come on, I look like
Ah.
they gave me $5 to take my top off. Woo! Yeah.
All right.
Period. Oh my god.
I don't
How
I'm in
is that
horrible
in bad
shape.
shape? How is that in bad shape?
I am.
don't
I have this like
understand.
farmer's tan that's awful.
That is not shape. That's the color. That's not being in bad shape.
Ow. I know, but I hate it.
Make it pain. I'm gonna make it
Do I have to, like-
hail. Just
Do I have to
throw
like
hail.
stay like this now?
No, you can put your
You
shirt
have to
back
you
up.
have to get up and pose. No, you have to pose. You have to give us like a spin.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No scope it, baby.
Classic Liberal said that's my porn budget for the whole month. Wow. Well, thank you. I'm honored.
And now you're in a spank bank. You're welcome, America.
You need a better bank if I'm in it. So what were we talking about? But no, you should.
We were
Olivia, you should
I-
definitely go
I
into
can't even look at
MMA.
the screen now because I'm like literally blinded.
I should go into MMA. Oh wait, when I'm like running
Yeah,
for
MMA.
president, when I'm running for president, the Republican
both.
debates, it's gonna be like a UFC fight, and it's gonna be me versus whoever.
That'd be
Someone
awesome.
has to do it. The
Whoever
rest of
wins
them are
gets
just
the
pussies.
nomination.
I would love to watch you in MMA.
I will get into a boxing ring with any of the candidates in my district. Like the election's a year from now.
You gotta be careful. That could be taken as a threat. Like somebody's gonna call the FBI.
No, do a pay-per-view, we can fundraise, we can make a day out of it. And think of the children. I'll gladly get in a ring with a 77-year-old incumbent.
As long as you
Wow,
don't,
you're so
as long as you
brave.
don't box like Romney did.
Oh my god.
That was the most pathetic thing I've ever seen. Like, if I was a politician
wait,
and they're like,
what?
we're gonna do this for charity, and you're gonna go in the ring against somebody, I'm like, boy, I'm going in to destroy you.
Wait,
Wait,
when
did
did
you say
Romney box?
Yeah, did you say Romney
Oh,
boxed
2
someone?
years ago.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, he did a celebrity charity thing,
You're shitting me.
and
I need to find a video. What the hell?
Yeah,
My favorite
it's like that's like Mitt Romney was. Do you remember when he did? That's like Republican outreach to the black Romney was like, who let the dogs out? Who? Do you guys
Yes,
remember
I
that?
do remember that.
I'm sorry, but my brain just combined Mitt Romney boxing match and black outreach. Come, beat the shit out of Mitt Romney for your vote.
Oh,
He would do
I
that.
would totally
Like, he
do
would
that.
legitimately do that.
yeah. So I should say before we end up like wrapping it up or something, do you guys have questions or anything? Send them in the chat. Don't maybe we can take more stuff off, but
I've seen
next time, maybe tomorrow, Greg and maybe tomorrow,
Most of the guys
Greg
that
and
voted-
Cal will take stuff off.
Oh, I will.
Oh God, that's bad.
And the
Voting-
sheen on my skin can blind people.
Let's go down on you.
Oh, Mike, I can come back on tomorrow because I'm staying here.
Oh, yay! So we'll all be back
Yeah.
tomorrow. Yay!
Yeah.
We get to watch more debates.
I know. I want to see the one with all the people of color though. So
I think
gotta
tomorrow.
stay.
Yeah.
Oh my!
Okay, so I was trying to write down every.
I think tomorrow is going to be the good one though, because. Sorry, I think tomorrow is going to be the good one because. First of all, you have Jay Inslee, who is rumored that he's going to take a knee for the national anthem. I so hope this happens. I know it probably won't, but I hope it does. And secondly, I think Booker, Biden, and Harris are going to rip the shit out of each other. Did you guys hear that now Joe Biden is saying that Cory Booker is a racist?
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh,
So beautiful.
let me be
Just
clear.
like chef's kiss. It's beautiful. I love it.
When I was talking about the circular firing squad on the left, this is what I meant.
Wait, why are you so good at
Horror-
impressions? Okay, do Trump. Do a Trump impression right
I know, I'm horrible at
Trump.
mine.
I can't do Trump. I don't know
now. That's
why.
I can't
the
either.
easiest one.
I can't do him either.
I wish I could do a good Trump. Be like, I love being here, all of you fine people.
That's
'Cause
pretty
he-
good.
Terrible.
Tired at the end of his
I thought it was
sentences, so he kind of peters off. So, hello, I.
Horror flick guy says voting for any Democratic candidate is like using super glue as lube.
Now every
I
time.
love the horror flick guy always. He's the best.
So
I love all of you guys. You're awesome.
I tried to write down everybody's closing statement as they made it. Like I was furiously typing over here trying to get it all down. And Klobuchar's I typed in all caps. Would you like to hear this?
Yes.
There's a bad person out there who got hooked on opioids before she died, and this is bad. Wah wah, emotional bullshit. Watch me pretend to cry, teary-eyed, but I can win the moderates. Ignore my stroke face. I have integrity, people. Ignore Trump, not me.
Okay, why does she have a stroke face though? Because I feel like her face is like
She has Bell's palsy, I believe.
Wait,
what
did
is-
she
what is
really?
that? Oh, now I feel really bad because I like low-key made fun of her face. Sorry,
Well,
this is gonna come back. This is gonna come back to haunt me. I'm really
Oh,
sorry.
it's
Amy
going to be a
Klobuchar.
BuzzFeed ad.
I was asking a legitimate question.
It's funny. I a while ago, like maybe at like 3 a.m. one night, that senator, what's her name, Kristen Sinema, I like wrote a thing on Twitter at like 3 a.m. and was
No,
like,
I like her.
I do too, but this was like before she was in office. But I like wrote a tweet at 3 a.m. one night and was like, I'm not saying she looks like a hooker, just she reminds me of a hooker. And it ended up in like 10 different fucking ads. Then like a year later, I'm like, oh Jesus, of all.
Okay, but she turned out to be really refreshing for the Democratic
Yeah,
Party.
I
Like
ended up liking
that
her.
whole thing where AOC was trying to raise the salary for Congress people, and she was like, "Fuck no, like we don't deserve that."
No, I like her.
Bisexual queen.
Okay. Classic. Let's see here. POC is short for piece of crap. It is a 4chan op that was successful. Oh,
I believe that.
Is that
I
true?
love
that.
4chan ops. 4chan ops are the best.
The whole
Or she can do
free
anything.
feminism was a 4chan prank.
I was gonna say though, like we were talking about Klobuchar, I think it's really interesting that she is talking all about emotions and morals and feelings. She fucking hits people. She abuses her staff.
Yeah, she's known as having a terrible temper.
She's
Throwing
fucking
I
Joe
didn't know that.
Crawford. Oh, you didn't know
I had no
that?
idea. No.
Yeah, she's apparently Amy Klobuchar. She's apparently like abusive to her staff and like throws shit at. She's like President Joan Crawford.
I wasn't
Okay,
even
I need a behind the scenes video of like one of her staffers like recording her throwing like a
Yes.
stapler at somebody's head. Like I really need to see it now.
Project Veritas style.
No,
But
Yeah, exactly.
Bernie's closing statement. I grew up poor back in the 1830s. Orange man is racist, sexist, homophobe. We must transform this country into Soviet Russia. I took 15 people into Canada and bought insulin. Not for them, I just bought it myself. Prison's bad, corporation's good. Go to my website. Sure, you won't get paid $15 an hour, but hey, it'll help me.
Well, you guys, I should say before, if anyone has questions, let me know. You guys are the best. I'm so happy. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm so sorry for all the technical difficulties. I'm going to get it all worked out before tomorrow. I think tomorrow is the debate where the shit is like really going to hit the fan. And maybe if you send a lot of super chats, they'll get naked too. Thank you guys so much for watching that. So I should say, I'm starting a Patreon probably, or I'm like waiting for them to approve it or something. So hopefully, guys, you'll do that. Help support. I'm trying to like buy more stuff to make videos with. So I have a PayPal, I have a Venmo, all the stuff. I mean, this feels a little icky saying it while I'm sitting here fucking naked, but I feel like a real hooker. But
You're a cam girl now. It's okay.
oh god, I am.
Sex work is real work.
I'm like a cam girl who lectures you about like individualism.
You're basically Stormy Daniels at this point. It's okay.
Oh my god, you should write classical liberal on your chest and then just take off your shirt during the next stream.
That'll be $3. Well, anyway, thank you guys so much for being on. I should say I have all their links in the description, so read it because they're amazing. Follow Olivia's channel, Three Kraters Symposium, Greg's amazing show, and Cal is running for Congress, if you can believe it. Theoretically running for Congress.
Until the
So
paperwork.
add them.
On Earth 2.
For legal reasons, I am a theoretical candidate until the ballot opens in November.
Okay, so I guess we will all congregate back here tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for watching. Do you guys have any like final thoughts, like Jerry Springer?
We should do like closing statements like they did on the debate.
Oh, yeah. Great, you go first.
Oh, fuck no. My closing statement is John Delaney surprised me. I didn't really know who Governor Steve was at the beginning of the debate, but now I like him. Warren is insufferable, but she's probably going to win the nomination, and I hate everything. That's my closing statement.
That was good.
Thank you, I know.
I officially hate Pete Buttigieg. Warren is totally going to win the nomination, and she annoys the shit out of me. I can't stand Bernie. I don't like any of them. Marianne Williamson is a national treasure.
Cal.
Greg, do you want to go next?
Okay, fine, I'll go. Okay. I just want to say and reach out to everybody to please donate to Marianne Williamson's campaign so that we can keep her going.
In every debate.
Every debate.
Oh, sorry. Wait, we have a question. What is it? Harflick guy asked about what about cigarettes and Valentine's? We start shooting in the fall. It's taken a very, very long time to get all the ducks in a row. But
are you like for real shooting?
Yeah. Well, we're filming like our pilot presentation.
They're not using real cameras.
Mike, you listed my channel as something wrong. Like the link is broken.
Oh shit! I'll fix that.
You're literally sabotaging me right now. You don't want your followers to go and look at my channel because they know they're gonna unsubscribe from you and subscribe to me.
It's my white supremacy coming out.
That's what I'm saying.
Literally,
fix
like
that.
It's that dark psychic energy.
I would like to say my closing statement now.
Okay.
I believe that a time for division is over. I believe that we can all come together in equality. Because racism implies that I have any positive feelings about any race. You are all equal under the banner of my disdain. Vote for me.
Equal opportunity bigot. I love it.
Bro,
I know, I'm the same way. I hate all of them.
They said that Cal's Facebook doesn't work either, so you really just hate all of you hate all of
this. Didn't. Wait. Let me see.
Hold on.
/Schrauth for Congress. That's what it is. SCHRAUTH.
Okay, Mike did this on purpose. I'm
you know what happened? Wait, you know what happened? I copy and pasted the description from the other link, and when it says ... it did that. Okay, so I'm gonna update all of them as soon as we're done. So check it in like 5 minutes.
Hateful.
Okay,
this is
guys.
Thin privilege and white privilege and hair privilege.
Thank you for thinking I'm thin. Okay, well, anyway, thank you guys so much for being on. Thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you tomorrow. I think tomorrow is going to be like way crazier. I'm super excited. So, thanks, guys. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.
What was that black power fist you just threw up there?
Oh, great. That's going to be my BuzzFeed article that'll come out. While naked, he did the black power sign.
At least he didn't get out his tiki torch.
The neighbors next door have one. It's funny. That's like across the fence. I'm like, oh, shit.
Like my people.
Anyway, though, okay, we're going to shut up now. Thank you, guys. We will see you tomorrow. Yay. No fists. That's what she said.